It wasn't posted on Instagram. It wasn't broadcast on television. But a private letter from the world's most famous footballer reached a young revolutionary president in West Africa. And what followed would change not just football, but the soul of a continent. April 2025. A private jet landed quietly in Funchal, Madeira, Cristiano Ronaldo's birthplace. The world assumed he was taking a break. Some speculated retirement talks. Others said it was a brand shoot. But behind the scenes, something else was happening. For the first time in years, Ronaldo had disconnected from football. No training, no press, just silence, and a question he couldn't shake off. Why do I still feel empty? He had won it all: Ballon d'Ors, league titles, global fame. Yet lately, none of it felt enough. Not after what he had seen in a viral video sent by his son. His 14-year-old son, Cristiano Jr., had shown him something different, not a game highlight, not a TikTok dance, but a 5-minute clip of Ibrahim Traoré, the young president of Burkina Faso, speaking at the Pan-African Youth Conference. In the video, Traoré, with fire in his eyes, said, "Africa's dignity is not a donation. We will not beg for visibility. Our children deserve more than football idols. They deserve futures." That sentence echoed in Ronaldo's head, over and over. Our children deserve more than football idols. It felt like a punch to the chest. Because deep down, he knew he had millions of fans in Africa, but what had he done for them, really? That night, Ronaldo couldn't sleep. 1 week later, a private, handwritten letter was delivered to the Burkinabe presidential office in Ouagadougou. Not through diplomatic channels, but through a UNICEF liaison, addressed to President Ibrahim Traoré. No signature, just a gold CR7 wax seal. The president's staff thought it was fake, a prank, until they opened it. Inside, it read, "Mr. President, I am not a politician. I am not African. But I have been watched, loved, and cheered for by millions of African children. I have won trophies, but I have not given enough. Your words pierce my heart. Let me come not as a guest, but as a student. Let me learn how you lead with nothing but love and courage. I don't want press. I want purpose. Yours in humility. Cristiano." Asterisk. The next morning, the presidential press secretary posted just 5 words on Twitter. "Cristiano Ronaldo. Ouagadougou awaits you." 1 month later, on a sweltering day in May, Ronaldo secretly landed in Burkina Faso under intense security and total media blackout. No Gucci. No Nike suits. Just a black shirt, jeans, and worn-out sneakers. The only camera allowed was the president's personal videographer. Traoré met him not in a palace, but under a mango tree beside a rural school in Ouagadougou, surrounded by barefoot children with bright eyes and torn notebooks. "I told you I'm not a guest," Ronaldo said, smiling. "Then you must work like us," Traoré replied. President Traoré handed Ronaldo a shovel, dusty, iron-forged, and used by locals to dig trenches for irrigation. "We are planting cassava roots today," he said. Ronaldo looked at the tool, then at the children watching, then at the dry land around him. And without hesitation, he rolled up his sleeves. What followed wasn't a photo op. It was 6 hours of sweat, sun, and silence. Cristiano Ronaldo digging side by side with villagers. The children were too shy to speak at first, but when he handed one of them his bottle of water, a little girl whispered, "Tu es mon heroes. You are my hero." That night, Ronaldo stayed in a modest clay guest house with no air conditioning, just a solar lamp and a mosquito net. No assistants, no chefs, just him and the stars. Then, the next day, President Traoré took Ronaldo to a war-torn part of the Sahel region, an internally displaced persons, IDP, camp housing 15,000 families driven from their homes by terrorism. The air was heavy with grief. And yet, there was life. Children running barefoot, singing songs, playing with a single flat football made of bundled plastic bags. Ronaldo stood frozen as one child scored a goal and lifted both arms to the sky shouting, "CR7. He wiped his eyes. He had seen stadiums erupt. He had heard billions chant his name. But never like this. Never where joy was a rebellion. Later, he pulled the camp leader aside and whispered, "What do you need most?" The reply? Hope. Not handouts. Ronaldo visited the National Youth Leadership Center in Ouagadougou. He sat with 80 young Burkinabe changemakers, activists, engineers, midwives, poets. They didn't ask him about goals or trophies. One young man stood up and asked, "Cristiano, after the lights fade, what will your legacy be?" Silence. Ronaldo looked at the floor. Then, slowly, he replied, "I've always thought legacy meant being remembered. But now I think, it means who you lift when no one is watching." The room erupted in applause. That evening, he and Traoré recorded a joint message. No music. No effects. Just raw honesty. Traoré spoke first. To the world, he is a champion of football. But to us, he has become a champion of humanity. Then Ronaldo added, "I didn't come here to save Africa. I came here to let Africa save me from a life of comfort without meaning." Then by day 3, when Ronaldo returned to Europe, he didn't say a word publicly. But changes began immediately. CR7 Foundation redirected $10 million toward building sustainable youth academies in 5 West African nations, starting with Burkina Faso. He launched a scholarship program for displaced children from conflict zones, naming it Traoré Scholars. In Lisbon, he gave a speech at the United Nations Youth Summit, quoting Traoré, "Africa's dignity is not a donation." But it didn't end there. FIFA announced it would co-sponsor a global youth football Peace Cup, with the finals to be held in Ouagadougou, a first for any Sahel nation. Even major players took notice. Mbappé tweeted, "This is how legends grow. Respect." Sadio Mane offered to partner and host training camps in Senegal. Neymar simply posted a photo of Ronaldo with the caption, "Heart over hype." The final moment climax. 1 month later, a press video emerged, not from Ronaldo, not from Traoré, but from a 12-year-old boy named Amadou, who lived in a remote village in Burkina Faso. In the grainy video, he stood holding a new football and said, "I don't know what Europe looks like, but now Europe knows what we look like. Thank you, CR7. That single video got over 100 million views in 48 hours. Ronaldo was no longer just a footballer. He had become a bridge between power and humility, between wealth and truth. In one of his final interviews before the UEFA retirement ceremony, a reporter asked, "What was your greatest goal?" Ronaldo paused and smiled. "Digging cassava roots, with children who called me hero before I ever gave them anything. This wasn't just a visit. It was a redemption arc, not for a man who lost, but for one who had won everything except meaning." Cristiano Ronaldo didn't come to save Africa. He came to listen, to dig, to weep, to learn. And in doing so, he scored the greatest goal of his life, not into a net, but into the hearts of a continent. This is more than just a story, it's a wake-up call. If this touched your heart, don't just scroll. Share this video with someone who still believes football is just a game. Let them see what legacy really looks like. Kindly comment below. What if more legends did this? What if you did? We want to hear your voice. Subscribe for stories that shake souls, not headlines. Because the world doesn't need more fame, it needs more purpose.